Welcome back. My name is Lauren, and this is Purpose-Filled You, where we focus on planning, goal setting, and personal development. In today's video, I am going to talk to you about how picking one word to focus on for an entire year can totally change the way your year plays out. Having one word to focus on for an entire year may be a new concept for you, and it may be something you've heard of before. There are lots of different people on the internet who talk about this in different ways. Some great resources for you may be myoneword.com. I've also heard of a thing called One Little Word. And then the last place that I've heard of it recently is Laura Casey's Power Sheets. Use this as a concept when planning your goals out for an entire year. So there are lots of people and lots of great resources that have already talked about this concept before, but I want to share how I have used it in my own personal life. So I first heard about this concept at a women's retreat when a minister's wife spoke about how she used one word a year to focus on her personal Bible study. And I thought it was such a great idea. I looked into it some more and found out that it has a much wider audience and a much broader way of using the concept. And so I started then back in 2014. I picked my first word, which was growth, and I used that word to help focus my personal Bible study, but also my goal setting, my mindset, everything about my life. I tried to fit under the umbrella of the word that I had picked for myself. As the years went on, the way that I picked my word has kind of evolved into the system that I use today. So this video is coming out at the end of the year. It is the perfect time for you to pick out a word for yourself, and it is the perfect time when I like to sit down and meditate on what I need for the next year. So for 2020, it is time to pick out a word. The first thing that I do is I meditate a little bit on what I want next year to look like. What big things are probably going to happen in that year? Is there going to be a move or a new baby or a new relationship change for you, or a career change, a school change, a thing that you know that you want to focus on, a direction that you want to move your life into? Think about what next year may or may not hold for you. And then also look back on the previous year and think to yourself, what do I really need to focus on? What is something that's been like a topic that's come up several times, or a concept or an idea that I really am passionate about in this specific phase of life that I know I need work in? Those are usually going to be the words that are going to drive the entire process of this brain dump into coming up with the word that you need for next year. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now, and it is very tempting for me to look back at my previous year's lists to come up with ideas like words again, but I have purposefully this year not looked at any of my lists until right now, filming this video after I've picked out my word, because I don't want those lists to skew what I'm feeling right now. Right now, these words are the words that are meaningful to me, and these are the words that I want to use to pick the one word that I have for the year. So just kind of a quick disclaimer, if you end up using this process every single year like I do, try to make sure that you renew this process every year and make sure that it stays fresh. So brain dump all the words, and then the words that are kind of really popping out to you, I highly encourage that you look up the synonyms for those words to see if you come up with a better word. One year I had picked the word savor. I thought savor was the word that I needed, and it wasn't. Like, I picked that word. I usually do this process over Thanksgiving weekend, and I had that word picked out on Thanksgiving. And then come the first week in January, I was just like, no, I don't need this word, but I do need the concept. And I ended up picking the word that year of joy. It was a very similar word to savor, but it had a much more positive impact on me personally, and I ended up using that word for the rest of the year. By now, you should have a very long, exhaustive list of words that are really meaningful to you, and hopefully some of those words will stick out more than others. The next thing that you're going to want to do is highlight between 2 and 5 of the words on your list that really are speaking out to you. Look over this list, let it sink in for a little while. You don't have to do this all in one sitting. This may be a process, like I said. I usually do this over Thanksgiving break, but I let it sit for an entire month. The whole month of December, I let that word kind of sink in and decide if it's the right word for me or if I need to kind of reassess before January hits. So pick out the 3 words that are the most meaningful to you. So by this time, I've got the 3 words: believe, earnest, and abundant. Then what you're gonna wanna do is take those 3 words and start doing research on them. Read all the different definitions, look up books that are about those words, go on Pinterest, read different quotes about those words, and see which one, is there one that's really, really feeding your soul right now? Is there one word that you just need in your life? And usually that word will become very apparent to you. So for me, in this year, I have just felt this nagging voice in the back of my mind for the last 3 months, focusing on belief, believing in myself, believing in my God, believing in the goals that I have for myself, believing in my marriage and my family, just having that strong grounding belief in all different areas of my life. It's a very wide concept that can be used and applied in almost every area of my life, having a strong belief in myself and in the other areas of my life. And so it became very clear to me as I was going through this process that that was the word that I needed to focus on for an entire year. So 2020, believe is my word for the year. So 2020 is just around the corner. I've got my word. Now it's time for you to come up with your word, and I would love if you do this process to share the word that you come up with down in the comments below. I love talking with you guys each and every week, and as you know, I will see you in my next video. Until next time, love you guys. Talk to you later. Ooh, babies.